everyone, this is Mindy Egan for Lawn Fawn, and in today's video, I'm sharing how to create Christmas stocking shaped gift tags with die cuts, some ink blending, and a few extra details to make your packages extra special. Not only do these make adorable gift tags, but you could also use them to hang on your Christmas tree. So let's get started by creating the Christmas tag itself. Now, the way I do this is I'm going to be using the Christmas stocking die set, and I'm starting with the main piece of the Christmas stocking. I'm going to take a side folding card base, so I just reinforce that fold there on the side with my bone folder. And then I'm going to take the Christmas stocking, and I'm going to line up the left edge of the stocking right past my fold line. We want to make sure that the cut line of the stocking die is past that fold line. I'm going to hold that in place with some Post-it tape, run that through my die cut machine, and then after it die cuts out, there's going to be the one side that has the folded edge. So if you end up with two pieces of a stocking, that means you use the wrong edge of your card base. You want to make sure you are die cutting on that edge and having the die hanging off. That's what's going to be able to create that fold line. I'm going to create multiples in today's video, so I'm going to do that one more time. That die cut edge is hanging off of the edge, the folded edge of my card base, so that way it can open up and I can write a message in the inside. To decorate the front of my tag, I'm going to take that same stocking, die cut it from tomato cardstock, the additional stocking pieces or the patches out of algae, and then I'm using these scraps that I just die cut out of, and I'm die cutting the top of the stocking out of that white cardstock. Now I want to add a pattern to the front of my stocking. So I have a sticky mat laid down, and this is just like the sticky mat that's in the stamp wheel, but it's bigger and it's going to hold my die cuts in place, but also hold my stencil in place. This is the Cozy Sweater stencil. I'm placing that over the top of my two die cuts, and then I'm going to push down on the stencil. So that way the sticky mat is holding not only my die cuts, but my stencil. And I placed my pattern at a diagonal just for some fun added interest. I'm going to ink blend over the top using lobster ink. I'm using a blending brush to do this, and I'm also kind of holding down the areas of the stencil just to make sure that those small intricate areas don't shift on me. This is going to be a really nice kind of tone on tone look. So after I remove the stencil, I'm going to just pick these up from the sticky mat using a die pick. And then I'm going to repeat those same steps off camera to create two more stockings. I'm also going to add a little bit of ink blending to those additional pieces that go on our stockings or the patches. For this, I am using artichoke ink going around all of those edges with a small blending brush. I am using this media grip mat to kind of hold my die cuts in place, but it still gives me a little bit of wiggle room to glide my brush onto the die cut pieces. And I'm also going to add a little bit of blending to the stocking itself using that same lobster ink and just going around the edges that I know will be showing. I'm going to start the assembly of my stocking, so I'll just do one on camera. The other ones I will do off screen because it's the same process. I am using my liquid glue and tweezers to attach the patches to the stocking, but for the white piece, the top piece on the stocking, I'm going to use a tape runner because I want to be able to have a little bit of wiggle room if I need to move that around. The die cuts a slit on the white piece and also our main stocking piece, which allows us to tuck things into our stocking. So I want to make sure that I am lining that up perfectly to be able to stick some items in there. I was thinking about all of the fun things that we could actually place inside of that stocking. And one of the stamp sets I came across was called For You Dear. And these are meant to create tags as well. But what I really liked about this is there is a deer and also this bear where it's just the paws sticking out over the edge. And when I die cut it, those paws will kind of hang over the edge of the stocking. So I am using white cardstock that I stamped using jet black ink. I'm just going to color one bear on screen here for you. I am using the Tri-Blend Spectrum Noir markers, and the colors I chose are the Gold Brown Blend and Gold Brown Extend. So I am just going through the different colors on there to create this really nice kind of teddy bear look was what I was thinking of. Instead of a polar bear, I was hoping it would kind of resemble a teddy bear. So I started with the darkest color on the outside and then just worked my way down and blended that out to the lightest color for the center of the face, the arms, and also the center of the body. I'll repeat the coloring on the other three bears. And what's really great about this, like I mentioned, is it has this coordinating die. So I'm going to line up that die, hold it down with a low tack tape, die cut out all of my bears, and it's going to create that slit. So when I tuck this into the stocking, it really looks like this bear is hanging off the edge of the stocking, and I thought that was really cute. I also have some die cut pieces from the cute candy cane set. These were actually left over from last year's Christmas tags. So since I had actually like 4 or 5 candy canes, I decided to use them in my stockings. I have all of the teddy bears and the candy canes laid out in about the way that I want them to look. So I can start assembling this. Now, once I have them kind of tucked into that slit, I did trim off some of the candy cane to minimize bulk. And then I'm going to add liquid glue. So you can see I'm just kind of lifting up the candy cane, tucking some of that liquid glue behind my candy cane, and then also the bear. So I did put some on the stocking itself, and then also the paws to make sure that that's really secure. Now I can attach this to the actual tag that I created with the fold. I'm adding the liquid glue to the front of that tag. I'm going to place that on the back of my stocking. And this is really nice because it's going to kind of hide any of that gluing that I did with the candy cane for the most part. The liquid glue gives me that little bit of wiggle room so I can adjust it and make sure no white edges are peeking off the side. I think the hardest part in this was deciding where I wanted to punch the hole to turn it into a tag. So while I was still thinking about that, I decided to stamp on the inside. And I'm using the Tiny Tags saying stamp set. I picked out these 2 small greetings in there, which look really adorable in here. There's something about miniatures that look so cute. So I stamped that in the inside using black ink. And then once I had those stamps set up, I just kind of brought in the other tags, lined them up about the same place, and then stamped it again. I always kind of tested it first to make sure it's still lined up and then was able to stamp them all at the same time. So, as I mentioned, I had a hard time deciding where I wanted to punch the hole for my tag. I didn't want to punch it into the stocking and have it get overlapping or take away from my stamping. So, I decided to go with my candy cane. So, I started with just one to make sure that it was going to work right. And I am using a crocodile. This poor thing is so old. Any hole punch will work to punch a small hole at the top there. And then I'm going to use, I think this is the Peppermint Lawn Trimmings. It's a red and white cord. I tied that up through the hole of the candy cane, trimmed off any excess, and that's going to allow me to attach this to a gift bag, to a Christmas present, or even use it to hang on your Christmas tree. So I did that for the other 3, just punching the hole in the candy cane, and then I'm coming in with some other details. So I added a white gel pen to the bear and also to one side of the stocking. And now I have 4 Christmas tags ready to go. Last year, I did some tags with just the candy canes. This year, I loved turning this stocking set into an actual tag with that folded edge. Once you kind of put this in an assembly line, it is really easy to mass produce a bunch of these. I hope you find this video inspirational, and I hope you'll use this idea in your Christmas tags this year. Thanks so much for watching.